What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol RKLB for Rocket Lab. On the left-hand side, we do have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, I should let you know that in the after-hours session, they did release an announcement here indicating that all warrants must be exercised by January 21st that were issued from the IPO. So in knowing that, we should discuss a little bit what that sort of means in terms of the mechanics of that for the stock price, right? As warrants are exercised, unlike options, new shares are actually issued to the marketplace, okay? So the float of the company would increase as those warrants are exercised, and therefore, from a supply and demand perspective, we would expect that the share price would actually go down, noting that there's more supply on the marketplace, right? That's simple supply and demand. So is it any surprise that if I turn on the extended hours session, the market is responding negatively to that type of information? No, it shouldn't come as a surprise, right? So it's very likely that we'll open on some sort of gap down for tomorrow's session. Please do remember that it's the last trading day of the week, noting that Friday is closed for the holiday. A lot can happen between now and 9:30, but it's likely that we will open on a gap down. So what I've done is marked off the overnight low, the anticipated opening print, and today's low of day. Let's go ahead and turn that back off, eliminate some distractions here, and zoom back in to talk about scenarios, right? So whenever we're dealing with a gap, and it could be for any reason, this one just so happens to be because of that warrant mechanic we just talked about, we always want to look out for scenario number one, which is the gap and trap. And what that looks like would be opening here, failing to find new sellers underneath the overnight low, so 1160 as of right now, looking for longs back up through the open to close the gap to today's low of day. That's at $12.03. So you're shooting for about a 23-ish cent move if it's going to be a gap and trap in the first place. Now, if the opening print gets a little bit closer to the overnight low, it's going to make the trade much more attractive, right? In this case, our entry would be here, and we're still looking for that same gap fill, but obviously there's more meat on the bone. So keep in mind, as the entry gets closer to the overnight low, this trade becomes more attractive. The flip side of this coin would be the gap and go, right? So this is scenario number two. This is not really what we look for in a first sort of impulse reaction, but if we open here, immediately drive lower and just put in bear flag consolidation on like a 2-minute, 5-minute, 15-minute chart, then yeah, you're looking for anything that sets up a breakdown of the overnight low. Again, that's 1161 to get us into the next daily area of support. And I would just say it's here coming from this prior floor before this madness happened in the last, two earnings cycles ago, actually. So let's go ahead and throw that on. And would you look at that? It's around 10, the floor there. And I'm not entirely sure. I don't want to speak out of turn here. So correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I would imagine that warrants could be exercised at 10 as a potential strike price. So that's interesting as well, noting that it was a strong area of support. So again, please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about that, but to me, I do believe that I had read that somewhere. So the other thing I want to point out, which would sort of decrease the odds of just the gap and go an immediate move into 10, is the fact that this overnight low and the low end of this sort of consolidation from the daily is also the prior breakout point from in here. So from a technical perspective, this was also prior resistance, which should be support in the future, and it certainly has been over the past couple of days. Okay, so I wanted to leave it zoomed out for a second. And then the last thing I'll leave you with is just the overall scheme of things from the daily, right? If we come in with the fibs from the high down to the current lows down here, what you'll notice is that this is all well underneath your 38.2, and you can start to classify this as a bear flag. So a number of conflicting things here where, ultimately speaking, a breakdown here, yeah, I would imagine 10 is on the table, but based on the gap, and we're always looking for scenario number one, the gap and trap, I would really opt for something like this first, and then if it doesn't happen, right, if we fail to get, a move back up through the open, so say it looks like this, and we set a lower high from the open, then yeah, in that instance, sure, looking for the breakdown of about 1150, 1160, that general area for the move to get closer to 10. So that's ultimately what I'm seeing here in Rocket Lab. If you enjoyed the video today or learned anything new, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description, and all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.